Live, local. This is Fox 12 Now.
Hello, everyone. This is Fox 12 Now. I'm Greg Nibbler. We're taking a look at our live shot there from our Shriners cam. Downtown Portland, still a bunch of snow-covered roofs out there, and there's still some snow on the ground, although those roads are clearing up a little bit. We're going to be talking all about that here throughout this afternoon. Again, this is Fox 12 Now. So we're live streaming here out of the Fox 12 Oregon newsroom, as we do every weekday. And for the last 2 days here, including today, we've been doing all kinds of coverage, just talking about the weather that came through, obviously the snow, the ice. Now it's starting to melt, but what's going on out there? We're going to bring all of that to you here this afternoon. And we are live on Facebook, on YouTube, on our apps, and of course at KPTV.com under the Fox 12 Now tab. But I'm here in the studio. However, we've got people who are out of the studio, out in the thick of it, including our own Ezra Kaplan, who is joining me right now. There he is, Ezra, bundled up out there. Although, I mean, I guess it's a little bit warmer than yesterday, but I'm not sure, though. You're the one out there feeling the temperature right now. Ezra, where is it that you're at right now?
Yeah, so we're near Copper Mountain in Beaverton. We're at the base of one of the many kind of steeper roads out in this area around Beaverton. Though this is not unique to the Beaverton area, you know, all around Portland, we've got elevation. This is not a flat city, and it's really some of these steeper roads that are still presenting some of the problems. You know, as I think our viewers have mostly seen, a lot of the roads are starting to clear up. The temperatures are getting a little bit warmer. As our meteorologist Mark Nelson said, you know, the melt is on. But that being said, there still are some patches that are a little bit tricky. You know, we're going to watch a couple of these cars come down here, and as you see, there's actually, we can see kind of the white. We can see where the shadows of those trees are blocking any sunlight that's coming through some of the overcast from hitting that asphalt, warming it up, and starting to really increase that thaw process. You know, when we first got out here this morning, that was primarily ice, and we saw some really treacherous situations. We saw some cars slipping and sliding. And so now at this point, we're seeing people kind of figuring it out, along with the road warming up and some of the melt. We're not seeing people slip around quite as much anymore. But we do want to show you some video from earlier today when my colleague Bonnie Silkman was out in the same area. Greg, if you want to play some of that, we captured on camera. Yeah, if you want to take it away from there.
Yeah, I've got one here. There was a BMW, so this was, I think, live during the morning news hit when they were out there. And you could tell just looking at this, you know, that it definitely has melted a lot more since, you know, when you're out here right now, since she was there. But showing that treacherousness, so this poor guy got stuck there for several live news hits as he was trying to get out of that ditch. He did eventually get out, obviously, because he's not behind you right there. We also had another one. I'll see if I can pull this up here, too, because there's some other videos of there was a slide where a trailer slid back down. Yeah, so there was a plumbing truck that was trying to go up that hill and then around, and this was also just while they were out there. I mean, showing it's kind of a bold move in that ice to try to go up that hill anyway. And, you know, sometimes that's what happened. Oh, yeah, they took out a tree. I know you can't see this, but this is the one where they took out a sign there in the ditch. And obviously nobody hurt, but maybe some pride, but that's about it. But, yeah, it's definitely, you know, still out there like that, too, with the road. And even showing what you have there behind you, yeah, that's melting, but that's still slick stuff. I mean, even that slush, if you don't get a good grip on that, you're trying to go up that hill, I can easily see somebody sliding back down that thing.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, interestingly, you know, we've got this speed limit sign right behind me, 25. Well, I'll tell you, one of the strategies, especially from the locals that we've seen coming through here, is they will come through here. They see this steep hill here. They see they're going to need to get some momentum. They're not hitting 25 right here. They're flooring it on this bare asphalt and trying to make it up there. I got to say, so far this morning it's been working, but it is quite a gamble. And really, honestly, maybe not the best call. If you can see all the way at the top there, we'll see if Devin, our photographer, can zoom in. But there's people who are shoveling. We've seen some kids playing up there. You know, this is a neighborhood, and so there are strategies that you can use to get through some treacherous situations. But are they the safest strategies? Are they the best choice to be doing, you know, when you've got families, you've got people around? And the reality is most of the roads around the area are starting to clear up. But if you're going out and about, you might end up running into one of these areas, one of these patches where it's still pretty slippery. And what we've seen is for the folks who don't live in this area, they might get caught off guard. And we've seen some people take this hill at probably inappropriate speeds. We're going to watch this truck come down here. Now, an interesting thing to note about the pickup trucks. You know, a lot of people drive pickup trucks around the area. I feel like they've got a lot more grip and traction, and that's true when you're doing some off-road stuff. But when you're dealing with ice, with slippery conditions, a lot of those trucks are going to be rear-wheel drive, and there's not a lot of weight unless you put some weight in the bed of a truck. You're not going to get enough weight on that rear axle, and so you see a lot of people coming out in big trucks that look like they could easily handle the slippery roads. But if you don't keep in consideration getting the weight on the back of that truck, they're sliding around much more than, say, a Camry or some little front-wheel drive that can handle this actually pretty decently compared to, like I said, that rear-wheel pickup truck.
Yeah, I can definitely testify that. I do have a rear-wheel drive pickup truck, and it is pretty much useless in this. You know, unless you just really load it up with a lot of weight, it's not going to be something that's going to.
You got to put sandbags over that rear axle.
You do, yeah. I've learned my lesson the hard way on that, and yeah, we'll see. Yeah, looking at people here again, you know, coming down this hill, but these kinds of hills are still all over the metro area too. I mean, the main roads, Absolutely. They are clearing up. But these side roads like that, you know, for me, it's like maybe it'd be worth going around it and just not taking that hill. But I understand the challenge too for some people. Boy, I'm kind of curious about this one here. We're all watching this live right now, so I have my back turned to the camera. So I'm staring at this. Like,
it's entertaining.
Is he gonna make it? Is he gonna make it?
Sitting down here. Yeah, I've been sitting down here for a couple hours, and I mean, you know, look, this is a real safety situation. I also have to say it can be quite entertaining to see. Are they going to make it? It's kind of a gamble every time. And, you know, as we said, the roads are starting to clear up a little bit, so the odds are getting better. Most people are making it, but we are still seeing people slip in, having those rear wheels slip out a little bit, especially on the opposite side from where you see that BMW there.
Yeah.
Where you're seeing the areas of trouble are really those areas that are in the shade. You can see right now the sun is coming out. We have kind of partial, mostly overcast, but we're getting the sun coming out. But you can really see right now the shadow of that tree is creating these difficult spots, and that is all over the metro area. You're seeing, you know, these little problem areas, and if you're not being cautious, if you're driving around assuming all the roads are as clear as maybe some of the sunnier areas, you're going to get caught off guard, and that's when things can really go wrong.
Yeah, I mean, and as much as the temperature has warmed up enough, you know, to start melting things, but if you're not in that direct sunlight, that's a good showcase right there. I'm looking at 37 degrees here right now. So, yeah, warmer, obviously up above freezing, but that's not a quick thaw. So, we'll see. Yeah, there's an example of that speed you were talking about as somebody's tearing up that hill.
That's right, just flooring it.
Well, and you've been out here, you know, monitoring this and watching this, but I know you were out yesterday too. We were going to talk about this, you know, some of the other things that were happening around the area. Maybe not as bad as last year when we had that huge ice storm, but anytime you have something like this, wind, ice, even snow weighing down tree limbs and trees, you get some of those trees falling over. And I think that's what, from what I understand, that's what you were out checking on yesterday.
Yeah, that's right. So yesterday I was out a different part of the area. I was up in Vancouver, just over the border. And what we saw there was a fairly good-sized tree had come down over power lines into the road, created a real dangerous situation. And so I think you've got some video of that if you want to show us.
Yeah.
What we saw was... Yeah, so, and I can just kind of talk over it. I know I can't see it, but what we saw was that tree comes down, and what we see in these situations is it takes a whole team, takes a very thorough response to actually address the situation, right? First thing you got to do is shut the road down. You got to make sure that traffic isn't getting in your way. Then, because that tree is sitting on live power lines, they had to wait for the power company to come in to shut down that power and to ground from both sides to make sure that any leftover juice in those power lines was cleared so that the tree workers could actually safely get the tree out of there. Then you got to let the tree workers do their job. They've got to get on a cherry picker, start cutting the thing up, towing it out the road. I mean, this tree specifically was big and it was heavy. They had to actually use winches to drag the chunks of the tree off the road, get it away so that the power company can then go back in, put a new power line up, and get that road opened up. And so these are all different players coming in. That's why just that one tree, that road was shut down for a good 4 or 5 hours at least. I mean, that was when I left and it was still closed. So, you know, it's been interesting to see. This was clearly not as bad as last year by any means, but our utilities, the first responders, all these different groups, they were clearly ready for it. We had line workers ready to go. When I was out there in Vancouver, we had a whole team. They had replacement telephone poles loaded up on the trailer, ready to go out there, trying to work as quick as possible to minimize interruptions to the people who, you know, at that point were without power. And so, yeah, again, not nearly as bad as last year, but clearly a lot of lessons learned. And really what we're seeing is cities, municipalities, utilities really being on top of it and making sure that the impacts of the storm are minimal.
Well, and I think, you know, what we did go through last year, just to talk to that, which granted was kind of an unprecedented event, but it brought to light so many different things like you're highlighting of how many people are really needed for each one of these incidents. You have, you know, 100 of these around the city or something like that. I mean, that's a lot to deal with. But I mean, just looking at this tree, that's a huge tree that came down there, and just to get all of those people out in place, also in this weather as well. I mean, they still have to get there. They're still dealing with all of that and the potential for more stuff like that. Yeah, pretty wild to see that and that footage right there. I don't know how many went down around. I don't have that statistic in front of me to check. I know there were a lot of people without power yesterday, but it seemed like they were pretty quick on getting that back in place, getting those fixed. But yeah, that's some of that hard work out there to do that. Really quick, we had somebody check in here just on Facebook who was wanting to clarify where you're at. I think you're at Murray Hill, is that right?
So
we're checking.
175th and Devin, what is it? Rygart.
Okay.
175th and Rygart.
Okay, there we go. So that's where you're at here, you know, taking a look at that hill.
That's where we're at.
That's where you're at.
Yeah, and so we're actually, there's a hill here. There's another hill behind us. Devin, I think, can give you a quick look here. And the hill behind us here is 175th. That's where you saw the truck with the trailer earlier on.
Oh.
That truck with trailer came down this hill back behind us there. That was the one that we caught live. And that one's actually a little extra tricky because not only is it steep, it's got a turn, which, you know, makes things a little bit more complicated. Yeah, there's still a sign down over there. But by and large, a lot of these areas have been getting hit by a lot of sunlight. They're starting to clear up. You're seeing these cars, you know, come through at a pretty normal speed. Yeah, the sun's shining, but be careful because where the sun doesn't hit, it's still a little bit slippery.
Yep, and it's going to be like that all over the place. Well, Ezra, thank you for having some time for us here, you know, just to talk about some of the stuff that you've seen and a little bit of a show and tell here of people trying to get up those hills there behind you. So stay safe, you know, and hopefully everybody in the neighborhood's safe too. Because as you mentioned, you know, those high speeds, while I'm talking about it, you know, seeing these people go up the hill, that is still very dangerous out there, you know, and watch out. Kids are out of school. There's people walking around, you know, slow down a little bit is the good kind of mantra that everybody's been talking about. All the transit organizations and transportation organizations talking about that too. Just take it easy out there. It's getting better, but there's still some stuff on the road, and you need to be a little bit careful. Ezra, thank you very much. Really appreciate your time.
Absolutely. Glad to chat, and hope everybody stays warm and stays safe.
Yeah, you too. All right, man. Thanks a lot. Okay, there we go. So that was Ezra Kaplan joining us there out in the field, out at that road, checking everything out. And we are here live from the Fox 12 Oregon newsroom. This is Fox 12 Now. We're going to be here throughout the afternoon. So we're going to give you some recaps of what has happened. We're going to talk about current conditions. I know people are dropping some questions in live on Facebook, so we'll see if we can get you some answers to those as well. We're going to need to take a quick break, so we're going to do that. You'll see just a little video playing. Trust me, I will be back. And when I do come back, we'll talk a little bit more about conditions out there. there and some of the roads, but we're also going to be going to PDX, live to the Portland airport, where there have been some real major delays going on. So we've got Adrian Thomas, who's going to be live there, and will give us a little bit of a rundown on what to expect. It's not just cancellations and delays. There's also some other things that are happening there that are delaying the lines even to get into the terminals. So Adrian will be here with us. Again, we're live from the Fox 12 Oregon newsroom. I'm going to take that break, so you'll see the video playing. The video playing is not live. I know yesterday some people were questioning that. These are some other videos that we have put together just to take up a couple of minutes here, and then we will be back and bringing you more.
How long is window live? Not that I'll use all of it. I think it's 15 minutes. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I don't know how long you guys.
All right, we are back here live from the Fox 12 Oregon newsroom. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. I'm going to fix this lower third there because Ezra's not with us, but we are going to be joined by Adrian from live from PDX coming up here in about 10 minutes or so. We're going to get a check-in on what's going on out there at the Portland airport. There's delays, there's cancellations of flights, but there's also some really long lines, at least from earlier today. So Adrian's going to give us an update on that. But I thought right now, because this is something that a lot of people are talking about and wanting to know about, is how are the road conditions out there? So we're going to go and take a little tour here of some of the different roads. We've got a number of different cameras that we can pull up and show you. So this is at 217 in Canyon Road. So right there, looking pretty clear. Let's go a little bit north, though. I'm really curious about the I-5 bridge and how that is doing. So let's see if this will pull up. Sometimes it takes it just a minute to show. We're going to try to get that on there. And there we go. So one of the cameras wasn't working. That's the I-5 bridge southbound. Looks like traffic's running pretty well right there, so not too much to worry about. And, you know, this is what we're seeing here as far as the roads clearing off. You've got cars going on there. The temperatures are going up. But what we were talking about here, now we're going over to I-205 and Powell Boulevard. So you can see on the side roads, there's still some snow there, at least in the median side of things, and probably some slushiness, and that can definitely affect your driving abilities. And as easy as it is to just think, okay, everything's cleared up, it's melted, I'm safe to be going along, it's important to remember that it's not always that case. And I'm going to go ahead and get our video up here. So some questions that are coming through. If temps get below freezing, they will most likely freeze. This Wisconsin gal knows too well. That's from Leanne. So if you're from Wisconsin, you're probably used to some of this. Well, I'll get you an update on the temperatures for tonight, but it's not sounding like it's going to freeze from all the reports that we have. So I think, at least as far as around the metro area, now if you're up in higher elevation, then certainly that could be something. Let's see, I'm just looking here live. So we are, if you're on Facebook, you can feel free to drop some questions. Are people chaining up on Highway 26? Certainly not in the lower elevations. I mean, this is Highway 26 in Bethany right there. So everything seems to be pretty fine on those roads. Now getting up towards the mountain, I will see if we can get some information on that and let you know whether or not you're still needing to chain up on Mount Hood. And there's a good chance that's probably the case, but I'm not entirely sure. So we can get to you and show you what US 26, if this camera's on. Okay, so there we go. So there's giving you a look there at Government Camp. So that's Highway 26 at Government Camp. It doesn't look like people are chained up. This is just the eye test right here, but people seem to be traveling fine, although there is still a lot on the roads there. Seems like they're going kind of fast to me, but that's, their business. And let's give one more look here up on the mountain. We've got Mount Hood camera. I believe that's heading up to Timberline Lodge. And yeah, so still a lot of snow on the ground up there, which is to be expected. And they're going to be getting some more here over the weekend as well. Let's look at the Vista Ridge Tunnel. If that will pull up, there's the tunnel entrance and clear roads there. So by and large, we'll go south here a little bit too. Take a look at I-5 and Wilsonville. Looking right there, that was around the 205 interchange just north of there. There were a number of issues yesterday and some accidents that occurred. Clearly looking a lot better right now. Although let's go back down there a little bit here to the interchange. Yeah, traffic seems to be going along pretty well. So by and large, these roads are looking a lot clearer than certainly yesterday. And it doesn't sound like there's going to freeze, but these are the main highways. The side roads still have a lot on there because even though it has warmed up, it's not that warm as we were seeing with Ezra. We can take a look at some of our live cameras here around the city. There is one, it just showcases the Shriners Cam, taking a look at downtown Portland. And, we've been showing you this one. Let's take another little tour here. Go down to Salem. And, nope, not quite yet. Let me get this on here. There we go. There is Salem, downtown Salem, and still a lot of snow on the ground there as that's starting to melt as well. Okay. We are live here from the Fox 12 Oregon Newsroom, and I keep reminding people that because I know people join and people leave. We're going to be here throughout the afternoon, so we're covering a lot of what's happening out there. We're going to be showcasing some videos. We've got some videos that you have submitted, that people have submitted to us, that we're going to be going through here today as well. And in addition to talking to our reporters who are out in the field, who are going to be bringing us live looks at what they're covering, and that includes PDX Airport, where there were as of yesterday, there were, I believe, around 100 flights and cancellations. Now, today, I'm not entirely sure. That's what we're going to find out when we talk to Adrian, and also find out about some of the delays in the security lines that are going on there at the airport. So if you are getting ready to travel to the airport, certainly look up your flight just to confirm whether or not it's been delayed or canceled. We spoke to the Port of Portland yesterday, and those decisions are all made by the airlines themselves. So each individual airline and each flight can have its own thing. Even if one flight's taken off, one flight may not. So it's very important to take a look and check your flight status with your airline before heading out there. But let's do this. We're going to take another break, so that we can get Adrian on here from the airport. So when I next come back, we should have him with us, and we'll find out more about that. If you do have questions, feel free to drop those in, specifically probably today on the Facebook live feed that we have going on here. So if you're watching me on Facebook, that's going to be the easiest place for me to grab those questions. I'll see what I can do to get some from YouTube as well, but Facebook would be one of the best ways. And we'll try to get some answers to your questions. We'll take a look at what the what the temperatures are like as well, and get all of that information to you throughout the afternoon here. All right, take a break. I'll be right back. And ideally, we're going to be having Adrian from PDX. Hey, Adrian, just checking to see if you can hear me.
Yes.
Okay, great. Just so you know, you are live on the YouTube channel as far as your voice right now, because that's the only way I can bring you in.
Oh, okay. All right.
Just making you aware of that.
Good.
Yep. All good. People are getting a little behind the scenes of how we set this up.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, then, if you're good, let me balance this sound out here. If you're good, I'll come back and bring us live and bring you up here.
Okay.
Cool. All right. I will do a little intro and get you on here. All right, we are back. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. This is Fox 12 Now. We're live streaming here from the Fox 12 Oregon newsroom and going throughout the afternoon, taking a look at some of the different things that are happening around the city when it comes to transportation. We'll be giving you some updates on the roads, on the weather, and hearing from you as well. We've got a number of different user-submitted videos from our viewer-submitted videos, there we go, that are going to be in here. So we're going to be taking a look at some of those as well. But let's head out to Portland International Airport right now. We've got Adrian Thomas with us live from PDX. I'm going to get him pulled up and we can take a look at how things are going out there and what has been happening. So Adrian, there we go. Got you right now. Thanks for joining us. You know, I know yesterday there were a number of flights that were canceled or delayed. I believe some people even here from Fox 12 who were going to be flying out lost their flights because they were canceled. How is it doing out there right now? I'm taking a look here. Just got you pulled up here.
Yeah, so right now things are actually pretty quiet here at the airport, pretty smooth in terms of TSA lines. Eric's kind of pointed in, we're up on kind of the upper level of the main terminal right now, and yeah, as you can see, kind of a pretty average crowd size right now. And Eric, if you want to pan over, this is the D&E checkpoints. As you can see, not many people here right now, but this was a very different scene, you know, early this morning, you know, with the morning flight rush and really through about noon. You know, the wait for the D&E checkpoints were about 45 minutes according to the PDX website. However, there were people in line who were telling us, you know, they had been waiting for over an hour. And, you know, we were told by an airport employee off camera that the reason for these long TSA lines, the other checkpoints, the B and C checkpoints, were closed throughout the morning because there were a lot of call-outs of TSA agents. So there was a staffing shortage amongst TSA agents. We have reached out, you know, to the regional TSA here to just get some more information about exactly why there were all those call-outs from agents. But you know, a customer service employee here at the airport did tell me that you know, they had a lot of call-outs from the agents. But yeah, right now, again, things pretty smooth, like a normal travel day at the moment. However, according to the website FlightAware, earlier today there were a handful of cancellations at PDX, about 29, I believe. That's what FlightAware reported. But you know, some of the you know, departure and arrival screens that we're seeing right now, we're not seeing a lot of you know, current delays and cancellations. So really kind of a hectic 24 hours, but things really leveled out, you know, after about, I would say, 12:30 or 1 p.m. today.
Okay, that's good. Yeah, because we're seeing, you know, we're hearing about those cancellations, delays, and I do have some video from earlier today of some of those really long lines that were there.
Yes.
Yeah, I think it's interesting there were so many TSA agents that were out, although, you know, just like everywhere else, people have to drive and get on those roads, so I would imagine that may play into that a little bit. And those roads out there are getting better, but still, there's still some hectic areas out there people need to be careful of. But that's good to know, though, that it is at least starting to speed up and people are able to get through on their flights. Any kind of general reaction that you've heard from anybody out there, or is everything going, you know, as you mentioned, pretty smooth?
Yeah, some of the travelers we spoke with, who you'll hear from today, you know, in our newscast beginning at 4 p.m., that they were telling us, you know, we met kind of a mix of travelers. Some people had scheduled flights for today, and when they arrived at the airport, they, you know, did not expect kind of this massive TSA line. You know, people who have, you know, flights to catch at the B and C gates had to go through, you know, security at the D and E checkpoints off here to, you know, to the left of your screen. And, you know, then they would have to walk to the other end of the airport. So there was kind of some confusion and concern among folks who had flights today. We also talked to some people who had flights that were scheduled for early this morning, but they got canceled last night just because of all of the backup and disruptions that happened because of the snow and ice yesterday. But, you know, it does look like that anyone who may have had flights delayed or canceled within the last 24 hours, you know, have gotten on their way, or if they haven't already, they've, you know, rescheduled their flights to a flight at a later time. Yeah, I think there was just obviously a lot of concern and craziness here over the last 24 hours. But luckily, as we are, you know, on this Valentine's Day Friday afternoon, things have seemed to have calmed down for now.
There we go. Well, Adrian, thank you for joining us from out there and getting that in. And as you mentioned, on the 4 p.m. tonight, we'll have much more coverage of that on our 4 p.m. news, hearing from people who are out there. And yeah, man, thanks a lot. I appreciate it.
All right. Thanks, Greg.
Okay, there was Adrian, as we mentioned, bringing our reporters in live from where they're at around the area, taking a look at that. So that's good to hear. So PDX seems to be a lot smoother now than it was earlier. And looking at just a little bit more of that video and some of the lines here that we had up there, yeah, from this morning. So good to know that is a little bit smoother than it was. All right, we're going to continue on with our coverage here throughout the day. I'm going to pull up a few more things for you. We've got a lot of stuff to talk about, and we want to hear from you as well. I promise my back won't be here to you the whole time. Talking about those roads, I wanted to showcase something from earlier today, just talking about TriMet and some of the delays that they're having. So we'll give you an update on TriMet, but as of an hour ago or so, a lot of the buses still have chains on them. They're looking to get those chains off of those, but that means that they can only go 25 miles an hour. They have to go slow with that, so be aware of that if you're going to be taking any kind of mass transit, to check trimet.org/alerts. We do have this, though. Let's take a look at Mackenzie. This is from earlier.
I just met with someone. This is Jason Eisenbach, and he actually helped pull some of these trucks that were on the side on the off-ramp to I-405 to 26 westbound up this very, very small hill, but it is causing huge problems. Jason, will you tell us what exactly happened when you saw the problem?
Yeah, so I was coming down off the Fremont Bridge on 405, and ODOT was actually in the process of helping some people out that were stuck. And I just happened to talk to one of the gentlemen that was helping out, and he told me that he was heading back over to 26 because the on-ramp up through the tunnels was blocked by semis. And so I told him, well, maybe I'll see him over there. And so I jumped ahead a little bit and got around before they did, and I was able to back down to where the semis got stuck, and I was able to help ODOT get those trucks moved so we could keep traffic flowing out here. So.
And that's 2 trucks, right, that you just helped. You're not like a professional tower or anything, just civilian out of the goodness of your heart helping with all this disruption.
Yeah, exactly. Yep, just civilian out here helping out. It's what I like to do. So, yeah, I pulled 2 semis out of the hole here and got them up over in front of the tunnel there so we can keep traffic moving and keep ODOT out doing what they're doing, because those guys, they said they got 3 guys on right now. So they're spread pretty thin.
And that's just 2 of, I want to say I at least saw a dozen semis, buses, different forms of trucks down there along I-405 still, right?
Yeah, no, it was definitely backed up all the way back up to the Fremont Bridge, semis, buses, all that, yep. And probably people going to work, so definitely wanted to get that blockage out of there.
Mackenzie, do we know what kind of rig
Tony, what's up?
Do you know what kind of rig he was using to tow those trucks out of there? What type of truck he was
Tony's asking what kind of rig you were using, and this is your truck right here, actually, right?
Yeah. So if you pan in there, it's a 2020 Toyota Tundra on 35s. I got the winter 3-peak mountain tire rated for stuff like this. So.
And this pulled semis.
Yeah, I was pulling semis up. We got some shots of it, so that was pretty neat.
Okay, oops, into there. So that was from earlier today. That was Mackenzie. Take a look at that guy pulling semis out with his truck. Looking at some of those conditions from earlier too. Let's go ahead and go back. This is from Good Day, Oregon. So this is not live. I'm live right now, but we're going to show you some of the different things that were happening around the city here earlier today, in case you missed some of this. So Bonnie was out at that same location that we just saw Ezra at. Now I mentioned that Ezra's conditions were a lot better. This was at the top of the hour in case you didn't see that. Ezra is out there taking a look at a hill that's still got a lot of slush on it, but earlier today it had a lot more, and there was an incident that did occur. Everybody's okay, but an incident that occurred out there. So let's take a look at this clip from Good Day, Oregon this morning.
Fox 12's Bonnie Silkman is at one of those neighborhoods in Beaverton, and I know earlier we saw a car had slid into a stop sign. Bonnie, what are you seeing?
Yeah, we've moved around a little bit. We are in Beaverton, and I just want to show you really quick before this car gets out of our shot. We have a car going up 175th. We're at 175th in Riger, so we're at the bottom of this really steep hill. We drove down this, and we were okay in our all-wheel drive Subaru with traction tires. We saw this driver pull over and actually put some chains on. And I'm just trying to listen. it sounds like a struggle a little bit right now. This is, again, a very steep hill. Earlier, we saw some cars going up it, no problem. This guy pulled over, put chains on, and it looks like they are still struggling. Slowly but surely, it seems like they're making it up the hill. We're rooting for you, buddy. Go, go, go. But this is just an example of what you're going to be seeing this morning in Beaverton and really just across the general area. We have snow, powdery snow on top of a layer of ice for sure. You know, the ice isn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. But sorry, I'm just watching this car. Okay, they have their hazards on now, because I think they're slowing down. Fortunately, it has been very quiet. So we were joking, we warned everyone to stay home today and not to drive, and you sure did listen, because there are just not many cars out here this morning. Here's another car coming down this big hill, and earlier a couple of cars approached this hill and they just turned around. They were just like, no thanks, I'm not gonna try this. So this car is coming down nice and slow and steady, and really that's the story. You know, you're gonna hear it from us all morning. Just take it really slow, and if you can stay home, you should. This is a snow zone. I hear another car and trailer come in here, so I'm going to get out of the way. But yeah, this is a snow zone, so you do have to have traction tires or chains in this area when the weather hits. So here, this truck goes up this hill here. We'll watch this happen. You know, they're making it up the hill okay, though, guys. When it's super, super icy, that is not what we see happen here. We saw here last year in the same spot, cars just slipping and sliding and going backwards. So this kind of shows you the story a little bit. Oh, this trailer's coming to a stop, and they might have to, you know, back down and go a different way. So do not feel too confident going up the hills. I know it might just look like a snowpack, but there is ice. And yeah, it looks like this trailer is trying to figure out what to do next.
Hey,
I don't
Tony,
know how long I have here, but
stand by.
They are sliding.
Stay with us, Bonnie.
Sliding.
This car is clearly sliding down
boy.
this hill.
Okay, and
My
okay,
goodness.
guys,
Oh.
wow.
And Tony,
I hope the driver is okay.
Bonnie,
Knock the sign over.
We can see the driver. They're okay.
Okay, good.
But oh wow, yeah, that driver just took out the sign, the arrow sign on this hill, and we'll go make sure he's okay and he can get out of there. But
we want to
that's
stay
just
on
an
this
example
picture
of
for
how
a minute,
slippery
Bonnie.
it is, you guys.
Bonnie, we want to stay on your picture
yeah,
for a minute, okay?
Part of the problem is now that now they're blocking.
Right.
So anybody who was going to try and go up that hill now has to stop.
Well, and what's
on
scary
that hill.
is if somebody slides coming down the hill.
Exactly.
Right?
Same. Either way, you've got someone blocking the roadway there where, you know,
Tony,
someone's got to hit the brakes.
And he's just slipping and sliding. I don't know if you guys
trying to get out of
hear
this
the engine, but
scenario.
he's trying to move. But not only does he have, you know, his own truck, he's got this trailer behind him too. All that extra weight, just not a good idea to try to get.
Hey,
up the
Bonnie,
road.
Joe is here now, and he lives in this general area. So if we have his mic up, he wants to kind of weigh in on it.
I just wanted to point something out here. So they're at the bottom of that hill, and I've covered this hill. This is one of the snow zones.
Murray Hill, right?
The problem is, well, this stretch right here, we're looking at that is 175th, I believe, Bonnie, correct? Or 175th and Rygert. So the issue is that people that come on the other way, if you're coming down, a lot of times you don't realize it's snowy, and once you hit that snow, it's very hard to brake. So what I'm worried about here is you're going to get somebody coming down that hill, and it's going to be very difficult to stop and avoid that truck. So that is the huge safety issue that I would worry about right now.
Absolutely. And I mean, we just saw this visual reminder of, even with chains, we saw the car earlier, had a really rough time making it up the hill. So now let's watch. Is this truck going to try to?
No, they can't.
No, they're not.
And if you've ever
they're being smart.
Yeah.
They looked up the hill and said, nope, no thank you.
And if you've ever slid in the snow,
it looks like
you know
this guy is maybe calling in for some backup here.
All right, that was from Good Day Oregon this morning. You know, one of the things about live television, when you're out there, sometimes that stuff does happen. Everybody was okay in that. The sign that the guy hit was not okay, is still down on the ground, according to Ezra, who was out there at that location. But again, thankfully, you know, nobody got hurt. We are live on a number of our different platforms right now, here from the Fox 12 Oregon newsroom, kind of doing a recap and a rewind of what has happened with this, but also letting you know what is going on out there as well. We've had Ezra, who was out at that same location. We had Adrian, who's out at PDX Airport, which, if you're concerned, sounds like the lines have died down quite a bit from earlier today, but definitely check on your flight before you head out to the airport to make sure, because there were a lot of cancellations, and maybe they canceled something earlier that now conditions may allow that flight, but who knows? So go ahead and take a look at that first before you head to the airport. Let's go ahead and get our weather forecast right now. So Katie gave us one earlier today. I'll get ahead and run this for you so you know what's...
This is the conditions up at Mount Hood right now. We're seeing a few flakes fall in. I checked in. It doesn't seem like we got really much of anything yesterday, even though we've had some snow up there. And we knew that it wasn't going to be, you know, a whiteout blizzard or any type of major snowfall up at the mountain. We just had some flakes falling. Right now, we're temperatures in the 20s on the roads. Definitely snow-packed. Not as cold as we have been across those Cascade passes, as there was a couple times we've been looking at these temperatures coming into this system, and we were in the single digits in Government Camp, and they're at the OR 3626, and then Sandy Ann Pass. So it's a little warmer, but obviously still below freezing, enough to keep those snow-packed roads as we move. The snow level is obviously going up as we see temperatures rise, but it doesn't go out of the Cascades. So we still see pass level snow possible as we start getting some rain that's coming through this weekend. So we'll be watching that for new additional snow up at the top, but as far as down toward us and those pass conditions, just keeping an eye on this road. Just be expecting those roads to stay snow-packed for you, as it's not going to warm up too much, even though the snow levels are going up. Temperatures right now in Newport in those mid-30s and calm. We've seen some mixed precipitation along the coast right now, not too much. Everything that we're picking up here on radar is showing up. And we do have a radar hole on the coast, but not the entire coast. So we know that conditions aren't completely devoid of that on the radar. Snow to the most of the metro and the north, and then the ice down through the valley, and then it transitions to rain as you get a little farther to the south. What is an ice pellet and how do we get them? Basically, what you're looking at is the snowflakes form up toward, the top where it is, depending on where that freeze level is. And then there has to be just this nice little warm layer somewhere in between, and then a deep layer of cold air below it. And that's how you're getting those ice pellets, is the forming of the flake, the melting of it, and then the reforming of it. And that's what we're watching for you. At the coast today, we're going to see those conditions milder and dry in those mid-upper 40s. In the metro and valleys, we do still have your first alert day with snow early and then a little drier and warmer this afternoon. In the gorge, still your first alert conditions, but we have that west wind coming in, and then just a few flurries this morning, but drier this afternoon up at the mountain. Central and eastern Oregon will also see some flakes, but everything will be a bit more on the calm side. Here it is, 7-day forecast showing today the last of the active, exciting days before we get back into more of a normal weather pattern.
Okay, there was Katie's forecast from earlier today. So giving you a look there on the next few days as we go through. I want to pull this up and let's take a little camera tour, if we shall. Just looking around the state and around the area here, not necessarily around the state, but a few different places. We've got this as our Chinook Winds camera out there at Lincoln City, and they did not get hit with too much of that snow that was going on. Let's head up the coast to Seaside, and you can see right there. I can't quite pan around on this one, but the turnaround is there to the left of your screen. Still some people out on the beach and enjoying that. That looks like a classic Oregon coast winter day right there. That is how it is. And we can even go down a little bit further south if you want to take a look at Newport. There's our camera there looking at the bay in Newport. And again, they didn't get a lot of that same stuff that we saw in the valley and up here in the metro area. But, looking pretty nice out there in Newport. Let's head to the valley, though. It's talking about that. Got Willamette Valley Vineyards right here. Still a lot of snow on the ground there. And this is just south of Salem. And they've got those igloos there. That is something where you can go in and stay warm while you're having your glass of wine. I don't see a whole lot of people out there, but there could be some people in there. And looking at the vineyard and overlooking the valley right there. So still a lot of snow on the ground. And that's part of what we've been talking about with those side roads and back roads. You're still going to have some of this stuff on the ground, especially if there's any shaded areas. And it still could be slow and precarious to be driving on those roads in there. Let's take a look at Salem itself. Just head up the road a little bit to downtown Salem from Willamette Valley Vineyards. And yeah, still quite a bit of snow there as well on the ground. And I'll say out here in Beaverton where we are, there's still definitely snow on the ground as well. I just saw some notes here in our live chat for those of you watching on Facebook that some people are seeing some snow in Vancouver. And we can head up to Vancouver. I don't know if I have a camera that'll probably show that, but I do have our Vancouver camera right there looking down at the waterfront out at the I-5 bridge. Oregon there is on your right. And there, okay, so I'm seeing here, Marcy says snow is falling in Scappoose right now. So we did have Katie on earlier today, Katie Zuniga, our meteorologist, and she mentioned that, there still could be some spots of that happening, that you'll see some spots of snow, maybe even some freezing rain out there a little bit, but generally speaking, she was saying that moisture is going to dry up and then the air is going to get warmer. And we'll be working our way out of that. But there still could be some spots. And as Michaela says, it's cold. Yes, it is definitely cold. I agree. It may have warmed up a little bit since yesterday, but it is still, I'm getting 36 degrees right now. So enough to be melting some of that stuff on the ground, but still cold. Let's keep going and taking a look here at these cameras. And by the way, coming up in a few, we're going to be joined by another one of our reporters who's out in the field. Here's up at Ski Bowl. And I don't see any skiers out there enjoying this, but some precipitation definitely coming down right there. I'm not sure how many inches they got during all of this, but anything's great. Anything that they get is good for the mountains, for the snowpack, for skiers, extends that ski season a bit, and maybe helps us out there in the winter. And finally, we'll go to this one here. This is our river cam, taking a look at the Tillicum Bridge. And earlier, that bridge, they were not allowing buses on that. I believe that's changed now. So just be aware, though, that TriMet is going to be running a little bit slower till all of these areas are completely clear. So expect some delays on that. But that's a lot different than it looked yesterday when we were eyeing that camera. So it's slowly melting. It looks like there's, I don't know if that's something actually coming down or if that's just melting off the side there, something dripping down, but that is that camera there. Let's go ahead and head over here. We'll take a look at some of the ODOT cameras from around the area. I'm going to go ahead and get those pulled up for you, and we'll take a look at some of the roads. And so if you have a specific area or road you would like to take a look at, let me know, and I might be able to get that for you. We'll start off here. Let's see, I-5 at Norwood. And we'll do a couple more here for I-5 just to give you an idea. So that's, let's see, go up to I-5 to Tualatin. Yep, I-5 seems to be moving pretty well. Not a lot of traffic out there, especially for a Friday afternoon. I think a lot of people are still took the day off or at home, and I'm going to guess that's probably what a lot of people here who are joining us are also doing. It's snowing in John Day, and our area hasn't warmed up or melted in 1.5 weeks. And that's from Debbie out in John Day. Debbie, I'll see what I can do to get some information there about that area. Certainly you're going to get a lot more of that colder weather. I know there were some really low temperatures out that way yesterday. I will see what I can find out as far as the expectation over the coming days. We've got it at kptv.com, but I'll see if I can find out for you. Stephanie says it's snowing right now in Washougal. I don't have a camera for Washougal, but let's see. We can get up, closest I can get is SR 14 I-205. If I can get that pulled up. Looks like, that camera's kind of working. Some of these, once they're out in the cold like this, they can slow down a little bit, but there we go. Snow is falling in Scappoose. Yeah, okay, so Marcy said that. I was noticing that too. So there is still those pockets of snow that are going on around there. Let's go to I-205 in Lawnfield. And things are going, we'll go down just a little bit more to the 212, 224 interchange. There were some incidents that were happening out there yesterday. Clearly all cleared up by now. Go to the 99W. And this is 99W Hamilton, so where are we at here? I believe right around Oregon City. Oregon City, I believe. We're at 99W and Hamilton, and here's I-5 Barber. So no, we weren't in Oregon City, but I can probably get over there. But yeah, wait, giving you a look at some of these cameras around here. Maybe we got stuck on 212, 224. Well, all right, we'll go ahead and come on back. And 205 at Stark. Okay, Amy, you know what, really quick, for you, I'm gonna see if I can get that pulled up for you. I may need to change this just a little bit because we may have gotten a little bit stuck on our camera here. If we did, I will come back. There you go. There's I-205 at Stark. That is for Amy. And traffic looks like it's, yeah, going pretty smooth right there. But again, be careful out there on those roads. All right, we need to take a break. And we are live streaming here from the Fox 12 Oregon newsroom, but I'm going to take a break. We're here for another couple of hours. We have a whole section coming up of videos that were submitted by viewers. And I'm going to watch them live with you. I'm pretty excited about that. But we have some more important information as well. We've got Spencer, who's one of our reporters who's out in the field. So we're going to take a break for a few. So just stick with us, and we'll be back shortly with Spencer here live on Fox 12 Now. Hey, Spencer, just checking in. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you. And just so you know, your audio is live on YouTube now, so people are hearing the behind the scenes as we set stuff up.
Yeah, we're just getting our shot all set up, deciding what side's better for the light and everything.
Cool. Yeah, for those of you watching live right now, you're seeing a camera there of I-205 at Stark. The audio you're hearing is myself, Greg Nibbler, and Spencer as we're getting set up for his live shot. And once Spencer, if you're good, I'll go ahead and bring us back in.
Yeah, ready when you are.
Okay. All right. And yes, welcome back to Fox 12 Now. As I mentioned, I'm Greg Nibbler. We are live here in the Fox 12 Oregon newsroom, bringing you coverage here throughout the day, talking about all kinds of things. I've got some videos that viewers have submitted that we're going to be going through here in just a little bit, but we're also checking in with our reporters who are out and about around the region. And with us once again, we have Spencer. Spencer, thanks so much, for joining us. And for you were here yesterday with us, but let's ask for now, though, where are you at? Where in the world is Spencer?
Yeah, so yesterday I was down in Salem. Today I'm back up in Portland, and we're talking to businesses about seeing how this weather has really been impacting them. And since today is Valentine's Day, we thought we'd check in with florists around town. I'm here at the Grand Avenue Florists in Portland's Central East Side, and they said business has been slow today. Last year, Annie Tran, who's the owner of Grand Avenue, she said they had a line out their door for pickup orders, for walk-ins, looking for those last-minute bouquets. But as you can see, the winter weather, the rain, the snow, the slush has really scared away a lot of her customers this year.
Oh, man, yeah, I would imagine, people being afraid of getting out there on those roads and some of that weather that's been going on. I've got actually a little bit of footage that from you, I believe from something you were shooting earlier, showing her getting some flowers together. But that's got to be a tough day for all these businesses planning on all of this, Valentine's Day stuff going on, even deliveries, people getting out, people forgetting to buy flowers and going in last minute. I mean, all that stuff being affected here with this.
Yeah, and Tran tells me that 50% of her sales annually usually comes from Valentine's Day. So this is going to hit her business pretty hard. But she says her flowers are pretty fresh, so they should make it through the weekend. She has until Tuesday until she has to reorder some fresh flowers. So she's crossing her fingers, hoping that folks come in later on in the weekend, get those belated Valentine's Day bouquets, just to make sure that she doesn't have to throw out or donate any of these flowers to churches or funeral homes. But it is kind of a mixed bag across the city. We were talking to another flower shop up in North Portland, Sulliby's Florist and Bouquets, or Florist and Botanicals, and they said that in preparation of this winter storm, they actually made a special deal to anyone who ordered a delivery order of their bouquets. And they said, hey, if you decide to come pick up your flowers a day in advance or on Valentine's Day rather than have us deliver it, we'll give you some extra flowers. We'll throw in a couple of extra blooms for you. And they said a lot of people actually took them up on that offer. So that's good to hear of some businesses getting kind of creative with how they're battling through this winter storm and how it's impacting whether they're delivering or asking people to come in and actually pick up their orders.
Yeah, that makes sense. If people can get out there safely and get in there, help out the business, number one, but also get some bonus. It looks like you got some balloons there behind you as she's coming out. But there's businesses like this all over the city too who are looking for customers to come on in, and she's got the balloons right there. Now I'm fascinated watching her try to get these balloons tied up, but I'll stop looking.
No, it's been, we were talking to her earlier. She said it was been a little bit of a stressful day, but as you can see, she's still working away, putting out fresh balloons to try to entice some customers to walk in and check out their flowers. She said she has plenty of flowers here today, so if you are looking for a last-minute bouquet, Grand Avenue Florist is welcoming all of your business. And hopefully, if you can't make it down today, she said she'll be open throughout the weekend to get those belated Valentine's Day bouquets.
There it is. See, and everybody's got an excuse. It was like, hey, I couldn't drive, I couldn't go get those, so you get maybe an extra free day for Valentine's Day this year. That's what I'll say.
Exactly. Yeah. The roads have been a little treacherous on like the back roads around town. Like I said, I was in North Portland. I've been here on the Central East Side. We came in from Beaverton. Those back roads are a little slushy, but if you're driving on 26, if you're driving on 5 or 84, those roads were all pre-treated and they were pretty clear and dry as we were driving on them. So as long as you stick to the main roads, you should be able to pick up those flowers pretty easily. But yeah, the back roads are a little slushier here in town.
Well, Spencer, thanks for having some time to check in with us on this, and I'm sure you'll have some more here later on today in our other news shows coming up at 4 p.m. and throughout the evening. But good to know that some people are being able to get in there and take advantage of some of those flower deals and help out those businesses that could probably use that right now, especially with that little bit of a delay here, thanks to that weather. Spencer, thanks so much. Really appreciate you joining us.
Yeah, thanks, Greg.
All right, and we will continue on here. Huge thank you to Spencer for joining us. And again, he was out in Salem yesterday, so all over the place, and that's what a lot of our reporters have been doing. So we've brought you Ezra from earlier. We had Adrian, who was out at the Portland airport just today, and then Spencer there checking out those flowers. And we've got more coming up for you. We'll get you an update on some of the weather that's going to be happening. And we do have also, I keep promising it, these videos that have been sent in. Anytime that you have a weather event like this, I mean, everybody, and we love it when you do. We love it when people are able to send in their videos. We don't get a chance to run those, of course, all on the air, but here we got a little bit more room since we're live streaming. We can actually play some of those, go through some of those together and see some of those moments. So we'll do that. Feel free to drop in your comments and your questions. John says it's Snowmageddon Apocalypse. I like bringing them all together like that, mixing them all into one word. That's good. But yeah, we're coming out of that. You know, the roads are warming, or everything's warming up a little bit. And as Spencer mentioned, some of those main highways and freeways fairly clear, as we've been seeing on our ODOT cameras. I'll get those pulled up for you here in a little bit. But the side roads, still slushy, still can be a little bit dangerous, and still you've got those higher elevations. There's still a lot on the road there. So let's take one more break, and we'll come back and we'll take a look at some of those videos, and we'll get some answers to some questions if you have those. And we'll continue on here at Fox 12 now. Talk to you in a minute. And hello, we're back. All right. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. This is Fox 12 Now. I promise my back isn't to you the entire time, but we're going to be going through a number of different things here for the afternoon as we continue on our coverage of what has happened. And let me get this pulled up here. So I've been promising this for a little bit, but we do have a number of videos that were submitted by viewers over this last 24 hours or so. We get quite a bit of them on a regular basis, but naturally we have a lot from now. So we're going to play some of those. I want to remind you all that I'll keep you updated on road conditions as well. We'll give you a weather update. We've heard from a number of our reporters from around the area, around the region. If this is your first time tuning in, I'm Greg Nibbler. This is Fox 12 Now. We live stream from the Fox 12 Oregon newsroom here every weekday. And today, just like yesterday, we're doing some extended coverage of everything going on. But let's take a look at some videos that we have had submitted with this snow. So we've talked about road conditions, all that. Let's talk about some of the fun stuff. We've got a lot of images of animals out in the snow. So there's a cat who does not look like super happy about being out there. And we thank everybody for sending these in. There we go. There is a bunny with a really nice jacket. Obviously enjoying the backyard snow a little bit. Love dog videos, and well, there's the dog right there. That's a lot of work, I gotta tell you. That's pretty impressive. Well, however it is they did that, I don't know. Maybe it's do you get a template for that, or do you have to? Can you buy a template for a snow dog? That's pretty great. Okay, this is. Yeah, he couldn't wait for that. That's probably about what my dog would do with that. And that was one thing we kept hearing a lot of, is that this snow was pretty good for making snowballs, snowmen, all of that. There is a mini leopard on top of the, well, I guess he is enjoying the snow. They're enjoying the snow right there. So, and gone. I'm not sure where this one was, but somebody with a backyard with quite a bit of snow that came down. There, it's always interesting to see if the cat will actually enjoy the snow. Most of the time, I feel like they don't. But this guy, being a mini leopard, is obviously enjoying what's going on out there. And thank you to everybody who's been sending in these videos and letting us see, what happens in your area. We have all our reporters out there, but we can only go so many places, and we can only get so many animal videos on our own. So there we go. Another guy with a jacket. The jackets are pretty popular, it seems, for some of these guys. Oh yeah. Yep, it's monkey hour right there. That's what's going on.
Hi, Mama. Oh. Get your apple. Get your apple. Good girl, Mama. Oh. Brad, you behave. Hi. Hi, Mama. There's the twins. Sorry.
What's up, bub? I don't like that, Mom. He likes it.
I wanted to let that run there for a minute, just taking a look at some of these videos that you've all sent in to us.
You're funny. Get it, Cooper. Get it.
Hi, Mama. Oh. Get your apple. Get your apple. Good girl, Mama. Oh. Brad, you behave. Hi. Hi, Mama. There's the twins.
Give it a shot, and then I'll take it to break if it doesn't work very well.
Sorry.
All right, well, as I just mentioned, we're going to try something here in just a second. Again, thank you for joining us. This is Fox 12 Now. We are live streaming. Taking a look at some of the viewer-submitted videos, the animal videos for this section. We have more, though, because everyone was sending us in so many great things, and we want to get to some of those. So thanks for being here and coming along with us. We've been live streaming here throughout the afternoon. We've covered a lot of different things. We're gonna we have our interview with Ezra, who is out in the hills here, showcasing how some of those back roads still have a lot of slush and snow in them. I'm seeing a lot of comments here too, because we are live streaming on a number of platforms. Michael says, I thought the cold was leaving, but it's not. It's snowing again. Chuck says it's snowing heavy again. And John back there with his Snowmageddon apocalypse. And yeah, there are going to be some pockets of snow. That's according to Katie Zuniga, who is one of our meteorologists here. I'll get you her forecast of what's going to be happening here over the next coming hours and then days. And she mentioned that there will be some pockets of that. You know, it's warmer. It's warmer than it was yesterday, but it's not extremely warm. It's warm enough to where most of that stuff is going to be melting. But, you know, we're still in the 30s, so it's still very cold and something to be aware of. Let's take a look here at, oops, looks like my camera just went down, so I was going to do that. We'll take another look at some ODOT cameras. Right there, I-205 and Stark. But let's take a zoom around Portland here. So this is our Shriners camera, and looking at downtown Portland, and still some snow-covered buildings and some, you know, not, looks like I lost my signal here on this one. We'll go ahead and see if we can reload this. All right, there we go. So some traffic out there. We'll see if we can zoom in a little bit and take a look around some of the shots just to see how the rest of the city is doing on here. And this is me controlling the camera and not the pros, so I'm going to make sure that you're aware of that So that this is not my form of expertise, but I did just want to get a better look there around the city because you can see some of that, hey, some of those clouds, that cloud cover that's coming back. We had that little bit of sun earlier out there. It looks like that's as far left as I can go. See if we can zoom in a little bit and we'll take a look at Omzi there across the river. I'm not sure how to do that. Well, we'll go ahead and just leave it there. We'll zip back around here to the left. And this is me trying to figure out this camera, and probably something I should have done not live while live streaming. Maybe not my best moment or idea here to do this, but nonetheless, we're going to go ahead and do this. Thank you very much. It is Valentine's Day, so we are live here on the air, and I want to thank Courtney for giving me something for Valentine's. And speaking of that, since it is Valentine's Day, we did have Spencer there who was out at a flower shop and was giving an update on that. So certainly those businesses do still need business, obviously. All right, we are live streaming. What we're going to do now, we're going to take a quick break. We'll come back. We'll take another look at those ODOT roads from around the area. We're going to talk about TriMet and some of the different things going on there with transit, and we'll talk about PDX. So I'll give you some updates on all of those after we get back from the break. If there are things you would like to know more about, some questions that you have, feel free to drop those into the live chat, and I will do my best to get you the answers to those questions as quickly as I can. We may have some more guests joining us as well. Just taking a look here since we're live, and I'll see what I can do to get some of that in there. But thank you for being here. And we also have lots more viewer-submitted videos, some pretty great ones. So let's take a break. Let's get to all of that after this. I'll talk to you in just a couple of minutes. Just a heads up, we are getting a few things lined up here for you for the rest of the afternoon coverage. In the meantime, I thought maybe you just want to watch some animal videos for a little bit longer while we just get some more guests set up. I will be giving you that update on traffic, TriMet, ODOT, all of that coming up. And we're going to have the National Weather Service on to talk about snow levels. Plenty more coming up. We just need a couple of minutes to get it all set up for you. So in the meantime, here's some animal videos.
Good, get it.
You're funny. Get it, Cooper. Get it.
Hi, Mama. Oh. Get your apple. Get your apple. Good girl, Mama. Oh. Brad, you behave. Hi. Hi, Mama. There's the twins. Sorry.
What's up, Bob? I don't like that, Mom. He likes it.
All right, circle back around on that video. I will bring that back for you some more here later because I know everybody loves seeing some animal videos. Here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna get you some updates on a few things as far as transportation around here. Coming up here on the show, on the live stream throughout the afternoon, we'll be hearing again from Katie Suniga, our meteorologist. I'm gonna have her forecast up here for you so you can see what's gonna be happening, get a better idea and understanding of what's going on, especially for some of you out there who are seeing some of those pockets of snow that are still happening. I know we heard from some people in Washougal and Vancouver and Scappoose, still seeing some of that snow coming down. And of course, John Day, but that's a little bit out there. You have a little bit of a different weather system than over here in this section of Oregon, and probably a little bit colder out there as well. But we'll be getting you some updates. Let's talk about TriMet right now. And TriMet has come out with another update on their service for the area, serving the Tri-County area here. And previously, there was an issue downtown with the steel bridge where the orange and yellow and green lines weren't able to go over the bridge and you had to get on the blue or red. That has been fixed. So that's of note. If you are going to be traveling via TriMet into downtown, it sounds like that previous issue is now rectified and they can get those over the bridge there. But definitely check TriMet.org before you go on any traveling. Another thing when it comes to the buses. So the buses have all been chained up due to all of that, the snow and ice that's been on the roads. Some of that's clearing up. So they said they're working to get some of the chains off of those. And that's a process, though. It's going to take a while. While those chains are on, those buses can only go 25 miles an hour, so it's going to be slow going. If you're stuck behind them, it means that nothing's a lot of it's not really going to be on time, as they said. So certainly plan for that if you're going to be taking TriMet to any kind of event here for the weekend. I know a lot of people are going out for Valentine's Day, had plans this evening. Probably those plans can be accomplished as long as the places you're going are open, but double check that as well. A lot of places did close earlier today. Maybe they'll open up here this afternoon. Maybe they're going to remain closed. So check all of that before you head out on anything this evening. If you want to here, we can take another look at some of the ODOT cameras that we have. This is from the Oregon Department of Transportation. We spoke to them earlier today. A lot of roads clearing up on the main roads. I'll give you another look here, and if you do have one you want to see, it's in the metro area, hey, let me know. Drop it into the Facebook there, and I will see if I can pull that up for you. Let's go to I-205 in Powell, though. We'll go on the east side, see if we can pop that up. There we go. So just a little bit there south from Stark. And, yeah, it's starting to clear up. Roads are looking okay, but side roads still dealing with that. Let's go to 99 Capitol. See if we can, get that up there. All right, there we go. You can still see a lot, especially in the medians. In the median of that road there's still a lot of slush. That stuff, particularly if you're going to be getting into a turn lane, be aware of that. It would slow down when you're heading into that turn lane. Otherwise, you could easily slide. Doing that, I've seen that happen just yesterday. I have someone with that same issue. It's easy to get confident, especially when the main road is nice and dry. You head into that, slide right into that. That could be certainly a dangerous situation. Let's go to I-5. Let's go up to Vancouver here. Up in Vancouver, so that's from the Washington State Department of Transportation. And things are going pretty well. Looks like on I-5 up there around 78th Street is where that is. That was an area of a lot of delays yesterday and some accidents even further up. St. John's Bridge, that's a great shot right there. So live from the St. John's Bridge, that's really high up there. I would not want to be the one who had to put that camera up there, I can tell you that. But that is a good look at how things are there. Looks like clearing off, even there over there on the side. But again, the middle where you haven't had traffic, still plenty of snow. And that's what you're seeing on a lot of these side roads around the area. Here we'll go down. Okay, 213 and Beaver Creek. Looking at what we got out there. Let's take a look at the bridges. This is something that Ross Island Bridge in particular had a lot of snow cover yesterday. Is that Ross Island Bridge? Yeah, let's take a look here. We'll go to Powell and Milwaukee. Low pressure. So Southeast Powell and Milwaukee. I'm not sure what's happening with the camera there, but Powell Boulevard in particular yesterday, very packed snow and ice on it. And now looking a little bit better. But the further you go over there on the east side, there's still a lot of snow as well. Let's go to the west side here. We'll go to Highway 26 Camelot. Yep, traffic is moving pretty good. Again, if you have one, that you really want to see, let me know, and we can get that up there for you as well. Coming up in just a little bit also, we'll be joined by the National Weather Service. We're going to talk about snow totals from around the area, and we'll find out exactly what we got. We're going to have the whole Northwest Oregon section. We'll find out how much snow is coming down, what do we get at the mountains, what can we expect for anything more, but just how that all happened, how many inches. We've got that coming up for you. There's 26 and 185th, so going out farther in the west side. And we'll go out here to I-84 and Marine Drive. And that, well, further east of there, was the scene of that huge pileup from yesterday. Now, we did talk to ODOT, so the original report was that it was about 100 vehicles were piled up in that backup on I-84. Huge. And we have some footage of that. We had our reporter, Julia, who was out there covering that. ODOT has now since said that the actual total was more like 25 to 30 vehicles that were involved in a series of different accidents associated with that backup, but then the rest of the vehicles were essentially cars who were stuck there because of the fact that you had that backup on I-84, and so they had nowhere to go. It has been cleared now, they said, which is pretty incredible. If you saw this footage yesterday, I can't imagine how they got all those vehicles and everything out of there in that amount of time, but they were able to do it. So it is clear now as far as the backup. But there's also, you know, the concern of weather out there in the gorge, so that could turn again. All right, here's what we're going to do. I have got more videos for you. So we played some animal videos that were submitted by viewers. We're waiting now for the National Weather Service, who's going to be joining us here shortly, and I'll have a weather update for you, and I'll have more looks from our reporters out in the field. But let's take a look at some things from you. We played some animal videos. How about some family videos? These are submitted by you, the viewers, and we always appreciate that. If you've got the Fox 12 Oregon app, it's really easy to upload stuff, videos, pictures, whatever you may want. And we love seeing what it's like where you are, because we can be a lot of different places. We've got our crews out there, but it doesn't mean we can see everything, and so we appreciate it when you are able to share that with us. So let's take a look at some more. And we're back. Hey, there's my back to you. Sorry, we're live here as we're streaming. My bad. This is Fox 12 Now. We're live streaming here from the Fox 12 Oregon newsroom. What I'm working on right now is getting the National Weather Service is going to join us to talk about snow totals and some of the things that we've seen from this storm around the area. Also, we do have an update from the Oregon Department of Transportation. So let's get that to you right now. This is direct from them. We were talking about some of the roads around the area. We've been taking a look at some of them. Or from the Portland Bureau of Transportation, excuse me, from Portland Bureau of Transportation, their updates. So so talking about this, they said that in severe weather, PBOT works to keep important transit lines and emergency routes open. These are the most crucial roads for our cities, police, and fire stations. So what we're talking about are some of the roads that are still closed or only with local access. So we mentioned those side roads, you know, the areas outside of those main highways and freeways that are still having you know, a lot of snow and ice on them. I don't have a camera to pull up for some of this, but Northeast Gillum Road, which is Davis to East, and from Davis to East Burnside Streets is local access only right now. If you are in that area, local access only on Northeast Gillum Road from Davis to East Burnside. South Arthur Street from Corbett to Water Avenue. And that's one of those main areas, I believe, right down there near the Russ Island Bridge. So South Arthur Street is slick conditions, so still has a lot on the roads right there. There's several actually with slick conditions. So South Arthur Street, be wary of that. South Lane Street from Hood to Kelly Avenues. From Hood Avenue to Kelly Avenue, Northeast 72nd Drive at Northeast Sacramento Street. So 72nd and Sacramento right up in there in that area. Very slick conditions. Be aware of that. Slow down. Make sure you're driving safe. And South Water Avenue northbound from South Arthur to Baker Street. So a lot around there. Down Arthur Street is going to be on South Arthur Street and that area, which makes sense. There's not a lot of sun that gets in there. A lot has not melted yet on those roads. And we're seeing that all across the region right now, where these, you know, again, the roads that are not getting driven on the most, roads that maybe have a lot of shade, it did not get warm enough to completely melt those. So be very careful of that. It does not sound like a lot of that's going to freeze tonight, although we're going to be talking to the National Weather Service here in just a minute. I'll be able to get you some more updates on that as well. All right, let's continue. And you know what? We've been looking at some of these viewer-submitted photos and videos. I'm going to play a little bit more of those for you right now as we gear up for the National Weather Service that's going to be joining us. And then we're also going to take a look back at some of our coverage from earlier today, as well as we head towards the 4 o'clock news. And let's bring this in here for you. Okay. I'm doing this live right now. We do have that shot there of I-84 at Marine Drive that you can take a look at. And you can see pretty clear out there right now. That was the scene of some issues yesterday with that pileup of cars that happened on I-84. Not quite there. It was a little bit more toward Multnomah Falls. All right, we've got a few more videos here for you. I'm going to run these again as we go through these viewer-submitted videos, and then we're going to be talking to the National Weather Service. So this one, I got...
Get his back legs. I don't know how to get him. Pick the bottom. Just pick him up and throw him on here.
And give her. I'll give her.
Just try it.
Here. Get out of the way.
Well, no, his bottom legs aren't on it yet. Just pick up the
Just pick up his butt and put it on top of her. And then down the hill she goes.
Nice.
You guys record?
Yeah. Woo! It's my turn. Snow Angel. Junior's first snow angel. Okay, now let's see what it looks like. Does it look like an angel? Let's look. Yep, it does.
Get it, Cooper. Get it.
George. George.
Pushing it like she used to.
All those beautiful golden towers are knocked down. There's nothing going to replace them. But much more importantly, you lost millions of people.
She's something else.
You lost millions of people. When they knock down those cities and they're all laying down on the side, they're laying down just...
And once again, another cat. All right. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. This is Fox 12 Now. We've been live streaming here throughout the afternoon, covering what's going on with weather, and recapping some of the things that we've seen happen. We're going to be doing that next with the National Weather Service. We're going to talk about snow levels throughout the region, snow totals, and how much came down, how much did the mountain get, how much did we see around the metro area and even down in the valley. We've got all those for you, and that's coming up here in just a few minutes. In order to get that set up, though, I've got to take a quick break, and you'll see a little video that's going to play here. It's not a live video, but just something that's going on there while I get our next guest lined up. So stay with us. We'll be back in just a minute with the National Weather Service. I've also got updates from various different places as far as, I know it's Valentine's Day. A lot of you have some appointments, different things you planned for. I've got some updates on some events that are going on around town. We're going to get that to you. We've got a weather forecast for you. Lots coming up here in this next hour as we lead up to the 4 p.m. newscast. So I just need a moment to get that going. I'll be right back with you. I'm Greg Nibbler. This is Fox 12 Now. Hey, Tyler. Not sure if you can hear me. Hey, Tyler, can you hear me? Check, check. Hey, Tyler. Tyler, can you hear me? Trying to get this, let's see here. Looks like you are muted. I can't hear you. You're probably seeing a video for everybody who is watching this. Might be live on YouTube right now. They're just here in the background. But Tyler, I can't hear you coming through them. Oh, wait. You know what? Hold on.
Okay.
That's on my end. There we go. I got you now.
Okay,
all right.
cool.
Thanks, man. Great. If you're good, I'm going to go ahead and I'll bring us back on and talk about some snow totals.
Sure. Yeah, I'm ready.
Cool. All right. Thank you, everybody, for joining us here. We appreciate it. We are live here out of the Fox 12 Oregon newsroom, and we're going to be talking about, well, a lot of different things here over this next hour as we gear up for our 4 p.m. news. But one of those is going to be talking about the snow totals that we've seen here throughout the region. So sorry, I was pressing some buttons there. Again, we are live streaming. We appreciate all of you joining us. To talk about that, though, from the National Weather Service, I do have Tyler, who is joining us, who's going to be able to tell us about some of those. Tyler, thank you very much for being here. I've got that live shot of Portland still, so you can see still some snow on the ground, some snow on the rooftops, but we would love to know what it was like around the region. And thanks for being here with us. I appreciate it. So how did we do on snow totals this time?
Yeah, thanks for having me today. So we just sent out a statement kind of showing our snow totals across the area, and snow totals were quite consistent actually across the area. So pretty much the entire Willamette Valley saw anywhere from about 2 to 4 inches of snow. That includes the Portland, Vancouver metro. The Columbia River Gorge, particularly near the Hood River area, saw slightly more, around 4 to 5 inches. And same deal with the Upper Hood River Valley. The hardest hit areas were the higher Cascades. Those areas saw about 6 to 10 inches of snow. So yeah, and that's in addition to some freezing rain as well. And the freezing rain accumulations were highest in the central and southern Willamette Valley.
So yeah, the freezing rain that kind of came down, but that's some good news there on, especially talking about the Cascades and the snow. How does that bring us up as far as snowpack? I'm not sure what the average is where we should be here in February, or if you have those kind of details. But 6 to 10 inches, I would think, adding on to that, that's got to be good for right now, wouldn't it be?
Definitely, it definitely gets us closer to where we want to be. If you recall, in the fall, we actually started off really good for our snowpack in the Cascades. We were running above normal actually in November, for example, and even into December. But then once we hit January, we really dried out, and the vast majority of the month in January was dry and sunny. So we started to get a little bit worried. Oh, we're not getting much snow up there anymore. But now that ever since February's rolled around, we've been starting to see more and more snow up there. And in fact, we have more on the way this weekend. So that snow is going to continue piling up in the Cascades.
And seeing this more snow come in and piling up there, is that going to help us out quite a bit when it comes to summer and as far as having that snowpack up there as a base going through that season?
Most definitely, yeah, that is what we want to see. Getting more snow up there in the late winter into the spring months is certainly a good thing for us, and it does look like the pattern is conducive to that. So, looking pretty good there. Yes.
All right, and snow here in the Portland area. Can you give us that one more time? I'm sorry, I know you said the numbers, but what was the actual general total for around here?
Yeah, anywhere from 2 to 4 inches. Most spots were right around 3. 2 inches was more like the Troutdale area. That's actually what I measured at my house this morning, right when the snow stopped. I live in Troutdale, and that's because the east winds coming out of the gorge. Um, were really dry initially, and so snow wasn't accumulating quite as readily initially from the first round out towards the gorge there, but away from where those east winds were strongest, we were around 3 inches, and then once you get out towards Hillsborough, actually closer to 3.5. So anywhere from 2 to 4.
So good total there for a February. I would imagine that's a little bit out of the ordinary. I know it's not unexpected. It's not something that hasn't ever happened before, but it's not that often. I feel like that we get a lot of those accumulations in a February, unless I'm wrong about that.
I mean, it's certainly a good amount of snow any time of year, really, for the lowlands. But it's also, like you said, definitely not unheard of. If you recall, February of, what was it, 2023, I believe,
Yeah.
when we had that big, almost a foot of snow. So um, it's not unheard of.
It's not unheard of. It could happen in February. Well, Tyler, thank you for joining us, and letting us know about that. And just to go back to one other total, just to clarify for everybody, when we talk about the Coast Range, what was the general amount that they were getting?
That's tricky because we don't have many observations there. Very, very few observations for snow there. It appears they definitely got at least a couple of inches, but they actually had a lot of freezing rain, as far as we can tell. So freezing rain accumulations ranged anywhere from about zero point 0.2 to zero point 0.3 inches across pretty good swaths of the Coast Range. So that also makes it kind of hard to measure because you're getting that layer of ice.
That makes sense. And we have been hearing from people, from viewers, who are saying that they're still seeing a little bit of snow coming down in certain pockets and areas. I would expect, though, that's probably going to stop here pretty soon. Is that right?
Yeah, that will wind down this evening, later this evening. Those are with really light showers that are generally producing a mix of rain and snow. Sometimes they'll switch over to all snow very briefly, but it's very wet snow, and so it's not accumulating anymore. So when it comes to impacts due to additional accumulating snow, we're done with that. The only spot we're worried about now is the Upper Hood River Valley from Odell to Parkdale. They're actually going to see more snow and more freezing rain starting tomorrow evening, and that will continue into Sunday. But other than that little small area there, and of course the high Cascades, we're done with the winter weather for now.
Great. So even through the Columbia Gorge there, on that section on I-84, that's going to be clear of any more snow.
Yes, at least impactful snow. You know, Saturday evening through Sunday morning, there could be some wet snow making it all the way down to the ground there on I-84, especially east of, say, Cascade Locks. However, it's going to be really wet, and so it's not really going to accumulate much. So we're not really too concerned about um, major travel impacts on I-84. You know, I know that pileup we had the other day in the gorge was very scary, but luckily we're not seeing any signs of like low visibility like what we had or a lot of snow on the road. So we should be done on I-84 for the major impacts.
All right, well, Tyler, thank you very much for having some time to talk to us about that, and sharing all this information that the National Weather Service has out there in Portland. And thanks for letting us know all about it. Thanks for your time.
You're welcome. Have a good one.
You too. All right, and we appreciate Tyler being able to join us there to talk about that. And that's one of the things we get to do here on Fox 12 Now is we can have these longer segments and go a little bit more in depth and get some information for you. So we're going to be keeping going here until about 4 p.m. That's when our 4 p.m. newscast is. But I have some more updates for you, and I'll keep on bringing you the updates as far as roads and different conditions on that. But let's go to some events that are happening, and I'll pull back up that Portland camera there just so you can see how that looks. And for people who are going to be heading out there, as Tyler mentioned, the accumulating snow should be done, and a lot of people had some Valentine's Day plans. And I've got some updates, and this is thanks to Spencer, our reporter who we were speaking to earlier. For those of you who are going to the Oregon Ballet, so their performance of Giselle at the Keller Auditorium has been canceled. So that has been canceled. All of tonight's tickets will automatically be transferred to February 21st. And if that doesn't work for you, you can contact the box office at obt.com. So again, the Oregon Ballet performance of Giselle at the Keller Auditorium has been canceled. So that is one thing to be wary of. Also, the Portland Spirit, if you had your tickets for the Valentine's Day cruise, that, let's see, the Portland cruise will be going on their Valentine's Day cruises as scheduled, but say they're being more flexible with rescheduling due to weather if you can't make the cruise. So they are still going to be doing that, the Portland Spirit Valentine's Day cruise, but if you need to reschedule due to weather, give them a call. And they said that they can handle that, and they said date changes will be free of charge. Also, the Doubletree's Valentango event. So Valentango, which is a huge tango convention that is happening at the Doubletree, that is going to continue on. They said they're being more flexible with rescheduling. If you can't make it due to weather, they have openings in their other classes through the 17th. But if you have to reschedule, give them a call. But otherwise, the tango will continue no matter what. So they will be tangoing at the Doubletree tonight and all the way through the weekend is how long that thing is going to be going on. So expect that if you are heading to the Doubletree. The tango will not be stopped. Okay, a couple more things for road conditions. As of about an hour and a half ago, Northeast Gillum Road, Davis East Burnside streets are local access only. Anything around South Arthur Street, down in the south side, southwest south, that is still having some slick conditions. So a lot of that snow that hasn't melted off of the road or it's slushy in the middle, that can still be something you can slide on. So be very aware of that. Some slick conditions on South Lane Street as well, same general area. And then Northeast 72nd Drive at Northeast Sacramento Street. So still slick conditions there as well. Talking about the upcoming weather, let's do this. We do need to take a break for just a couple of minutes, but then we're going to come back and I'll set us up here to have a forecast for you. This is going to be from Katie Zuniga to let you know what's coming up and what we can expect here over the next few days. So give me about 2 minutes for this break, and then I'll be right back and we'll talk to Katie. All right. We're back. We're continuing the marathon here for Fox 12 Now, live streaming from the Fox 12 Oregon newsroom. We started around 1 o'clock. Actually, we started at 11 a.m. this morning, and we had some segments, and then filling this up and making sure that you are getting a lot of information there about the Oregon Department of Transportation, about transit, about everything around the region. We can go back and take another look at those ODOT cameras as well. So if you're watching us live, say on Facebook specifically, that's going to be the easiest thing for me to grab those comments right now. But if there's a section of town you want to see maybe what the roads look like, I might be able to get you some live camera shots of that and pull that up in real time. So drop those into the comments. I'll see what I can do. But around 11 a.m. today, we had Katie Zuniga on to talk about the forecast, about what they are predicting here for the next coming the rest of the next 24 hours, but then throughout the next week on where that forecast is going, what should we expect depending on where you are. Katie gave us all of that earlier today. So this was about, 4 hours ago. I don't know what time it is anymore. 4 hours ago, we'll say, but still the forecast for the next coming week is very accurate. So let's go ahead and play this from earlier today.
Here we go. So this is the conditions down at the Willamette.
For the camera? Okay.
Yeah, down Willamette Valley Vineyard camera. I love the igloos because it's just like with the snow on them, it's what you would think an igloo should have snow on it. It was one of the areas where, of course, with our cameras, we don't have any farther south. That's one of our cameras. We can obviously look at ODOT cameras and trip check cameras, but this is one of our live ones. And so between here and Salem, it's where we began to see everything falling yesterday, right around 6 o'clock, just like we expected yesterday morning, and then moving up through the valley toward us. And then, of course, we also have the Salem camera. And if you didn't see this, I have a time lapse on my Facebook, and I think possibly Instagram, I put it there too, where we had this zoomed in and you could start to see the snow falling by Salem. I think it was around 7:30. 6:30, 7:30, I have to remember. It's been a long 24, 36 hours for me. And then you saw it start to spread across the parking lot, and then you start to see the grass, and you start to see, and so it was a really good time lapse of everything. It fell all the way through for us until I believe it was around 11:30 is when we started to see some things basically clearing up for us. And then here we have our current radar image. And what I want to walk you through this is the changes that we've seen from when this started. If you remember, if you were paying attention, we started seeing everything from Eugene. That's when we got in, radar was showing about Eugene, and it kind of was on this like northwest trajectory coming up just like this. So it took longer for things to get to the metro and then to Vancouver and then finally up into, all the way up to Longview and in those areas. Now, if you'll notice, this is now coming in from the northwest and kind of coming this way toward us and moving down off to the southeast. And that's been where that low pressure center, and we've talked about this on our live streams before, that there's two different setups that we look for when we're trying to get snow in our region. One was the first alert days we had not too long ago, where we had that south wind, and we talked about we really don't get many totals from that. The beach had some amazing snowfall. It didn't have the warming, mixing south wind that we had coming up through the valley. And then there's the east wind events, and those are the ones that shut us down.
Yeah.
That was this. We had this cold, dry air that came down. It gets funneled through the gorge, sits around, and we had it for several days. Remember, our overnight temperatures have been in the upper 20s to low 30s for a long time. Daytime temperatures did warm some into the 40s, but we've had this cold pool of air that comes in from the east. Some goes up to the north, some gets funneled down to the south and north, north winds through the valley. And then when that moisture comes in from that low pressure center, it rides over that dry air, and we get this nice big deep layer. We also just recently talked about the different temperatures at different altitudes, that warm versus cold, and how thick the warm layer is, and how that gives you snow, rain, freezing ice, or ice pellets, freezing rain, those kind of things. So that's what we had, was this nice big thick layer of cold air just sitting there, waiting for the moisture to come in. That's what it did. As that system has moved on, it's actually been absorbed back up into the jet stream, so that low pressure center is up into here, and now we have this ridge that's building and then coming down toward us. So that's where we've seen the change from the snow coming this way yesterday morning to now these scattered showers still coming in. Obviously, the bulk of what we we're going to have is done, but you'll notice that there are still some scattered showers. There's even some freezing rain and snow and regular rain and that, so we don't expect to be 100% dry for everybody. For today and tomorrow, a shower or two, a few snowflakes could fall as this moisture kind of trickles through. Then tomorrow night, we see a shift in those upper levels, kind of the steering of the systems. Rain returns, but we're warm. We're back into like the low 40s, and it's rain for everywhere but the Cascades all the way over top to bottom. And then we're going to see more normal weather for you over the next few days.
So a few people out there are still going to be seeing some of that snow and freezing rain.
Just light, very light. Yeah, like you could go out and you're like, oh, I'm getting those little icy pellets on my face, or it's all of a sudden you feel a little something here or there. And this is showing you by tomorrow morning, there still could be a few spots. I mean, these aren't as heavily traveled. We're mainly looking for everything up across the main traveled roads that we see. And there's a little still down here just off, and this is possibility for ice glazing. But the general threat, that ice storm warning, that finished at 10 o'clock when a majority of everything else had cleared up. So
nice.
We're good. We're good on that. Yeah, that's really great. All right, let's see what else I got for you here. How much time do we have?
We've got about a minute left, and then
okay,
we need to gear up and try it. And by the way, for everybody who is dropping questions in here, we will get those questions answered for you here throughout the day.
While he's doing his TriMet interview, I will look those questions over, and then I'll pop back on as soon as he's done.
Perfect.
And we'll answer all your questions. Okay. I showed you a different graphic the other day where we had all the different layers and different types, and we had quite a bit of the ice pellets this morning. When I came in from the hotel that we stay at just up the street when we have these big events just so we can be safe, I heard the tink, 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 tink on my windshield when I was coming in.
And I've learned about that from you.
Yes. So
especially over the last couple of weeks.
Basically what that means is, our snow level, whatever height and the altitude that is, those snowflakes are made. And then there's just somewhere between there and this cold layer at the ground that it's melted just enough that when it refreezes, it's more of an ice than a snowflake. So that's what's made those little chunky ice pellets dropping. And I definitely, so we were done yesterday at 1. It was safe enough. I ran home, grabbed an overnight bag, came back as soon as I could, and as I was pulling into the hotel, tink, 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 this started coming down, and I even saw somebody slide across the intersection and slam into a light pole. So
yikes.
It was starting to get bad around 5 o'clock again last night. So that's just a quick little fun thing for you there, and then I will show you, let's look at...
We might have to wait on that one just so I can get TriMet in here.
Current temperatures.
Ta-da! Current temperatures.
There you go.
All right, so that was from earlier today, like the ta-da at the end, letting us know the temperature. So there you go. There's a little bit of an idea of what to expect, and we'll, of course, be updating that. We've got our whole weather team who has been working very hard at that. Katie earlier today was doing that. That's why she's not here now. She needed to go home. She's been doing that for hours and hours and hours at that point. But giving you some, I'd leave some comments on our Facebook page. If you do have some different roads you would like to check on, we've got live cameras all over the place. There's a good chance I may be able to pull that up and let you know what it is to expect. But we're going to do this right now, though. We do have to take another quick break, and we'll come back. We're going to talk to, we're going to play our segment with Ezra. We're going to revisit that, who is out there in the field today. And some of those roads are still pretty dicey, and I want to make sure that everybody's aware of that. So if you're thinking, the main roads are looking clear, but the side roads, it hasn't gotten that warm. It's not all melted in some of those areas, and so you got to be really careful with that. And we don't want anybody getting into any more accidents or any trouble, especially on some of those hilly sides or places where there's a lot of shade. Those are still can have a lot of that slush on the road, and as it gets colder, that's easy to slide around on. So we'll take a quick break. We'll come back. We'll talk about all of that. Let me know in the comments what you want to find out as far as what roads and what conditions you want to know about. We'll talk to you then. About 2-3 minutes. All right, continuing on. Keep saying all right. I appreciate everybody who is joining us here this afternoon as we've been live streaming. We were on from 11 to noon. We're here from 1 o'clock until 4 o'clock. Our 4 p.m. news is coming up. We've got reporters out all over the area who are going to be giving you some updates on what they're seeing currently and what's going on. We did have Ezra joining us, Ezra Kaplan, about 2 hours ago out at Murray Hill to showcase just how some of the road was still slick. I want to replay that for you too, just to get an idea of what was going on out there and some of the conditions that may still exist on some of these roads and hills around the area, and a kind of a warning for people to watch out and be careful and not end up, I mean, these weren't terrible accidents or anything like that we're going to be showing you, but you know, going into the ditch isn't that fun. But here we go. Let's play this from earlier today. Here in the studio, however, we've got people who are out of the studio, out in the thick of it, including our own Ezra Kaplan, who is joining me right now. There he is, Ezra, bundled up out there. Although, I mean, I guess it's a little bit warmer than yesterday, but I'm not sure, though. You're the one out there feeling the temperature right now. Ezra, where is it that you're at right now?
Yeah, so we're near Copper Mountain in Beaverton. We're at the base of one of the many kind of steeper roads out in this area around Beaverton. Though this is not unique to the Beaverton area, you know, all around Portland, we've got elevation. This is not a flat city, and it's really some of these steeper roads that are still presenting some of the problems. You know, as I think our viewers have mostly seen, a lot of the roads are starting to clear up. The temperatures are getting a little bit warmer. As our meteorologist Mark Nelson said, you know, the melt is on. But that being said, there still are some patches that are a little bit tricky. You know, we're going to watch a couple of these cars come down here, and as you see, there's actually, we can see kind of the white. We can see where the shadows of those trees are blocking any sunlight that's coming through some of the overcast from hitting that asphalt, warming it up, and starting to really increase that thaw process. You know, when we first got out here this morning, that was primarily ice, and we saw some really treacherous situations. We saw some cars slipping and sliding. And so now at this point, we're seeing people kind of figuring it out, along with the road warming up and some of the melt. We're not seeing people slip around quite as much anymore. But we do want to show you some video from earlier today when my colleague Bonnie Silkman was out in the same area. Greg, if you want to play some of that, we captured on camera. Yeah, if you want to take it away from there.
Yeah, I've got one here. There was a BMW, so this was, I think, live during the morning news hit when they were out there. And you could tell just looking at this, you know, that it definitely has melted a lot more since, you know, when you're out here right now, since she was there. But showing that treacherousness, so this poor guy got stuck there for several live news hits as he was trying to get out of that ditch. He did eventually get out, obviously, because he's not behind you right there. We also had another one. I'll see if I can pull this up here, too, because there's some other videos of there was a slide where a trailer slid back down. Yeah, so there was a plumbing truck that was trying to go up that hill and then around, and this was also just while they were out there. I mean, showing it's kind of a bold move in that ice to try to go up that hill anyway. And, you know, sometimes that's what happened. Oh, yeah, they took out a tree. I know you can't see this, but this is the one where they took out a sign there in the ditch. And obviously nobody hurt, but maybe some pride, but that's about it. But, yeah, it's definitely, you know, still out there like that, too, with the road. And even showing what you have there behind you, yeah, that's melting, but that's still slick stuff. I mean, even that slush, if you don't get a good grip on that, you're trying to go up that hill, I can easily see somebody sliding back down that thing.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, interestingly, you know, we've got this speed limit sign right behind me, 25. Well, I'll tell you, one of the strategies, especially from the locals that we've seen coming through here, is they will come through here. They see this steep hill here. They see they're going to need to get some momentum. They're not hitting 25 right here. They're flooring it on this bare asphalt and trying to make it up there. I got to say, so far this morning it's been working, but it is quite a gamble. And really, honestly, maybe not the best call. If you can see all the way at the top there, we'll see if Devin, our photographer, can zoom in. But there's people who are shoveling. We've seen some kids playing up there. You know, this is a neighborhood, and so there are strategies that you can use to get through some treacherous situations. But are they the safest strategies? Are they the best choice to be doing, you know, when you've got families, you've got people around? And the reality is most of the roads around the area are starting to clear up. But if you're going out and about, you might end up running into one of these areas, one of these patches where it's still pretty slippery. And what we've seen is for the folks who don't live in this area, they might get caught off guard. And we've seen some people take this hill at probably inappropriate speeds. We're going to watch this truck come down here. Now, an interesting thing to note about the pickup trucks. You know, a lot of people drive pickup trucks around the area. I feel like they've got a lot more grip and traction, and that's true when you're doing some off-road stuff. But when you're dealing with ice, with slippery conditions, a lot of those trucks are going to be rear-wheel drive, and there's not a lot of weight unless you put some weight in the bed of a truck. You're not going to get enough weight on that rear axle, and so you see a lot of people coming out in big trucks that look like they can easily handle the slippery roads. But if you don't keep in consideration getting the weight on the back of that truck, they're sliding around much more than, say, a Camry or some little front-wheel drive that can handle this actually pretty decently compared to, like I said, that rear-wheel pickup truck.
Yeah, I can definitely testify that. I do have a rear-wheel drive pickup truck, and it is pretty much useless in this. You know, unless you just really load it up with a lot of weight, it's not going to be something that's going to.
You got to put sandbags over that rear axle.
You do, yeah. I've learned my lesson the hard way on that, and yeah, we'll see. Yeah, looking at people here again, you know, coming down this hill, but these kinds of hills are still all over the metro area too. I mean, the main roads, they are clearing up. But these side roads like that, you know, for me, it's like maybe it'd be worth going around it and just not taking that hill. But I understand the challenge too for some people. Boy, I'm kind of curious about this one here. We're all watching this live right now, so I have my back turned to the camera. I'm staring at this.
It's entertaining.
Is he gonna make it? Is he gonna make it?
Sitting down here. Yeah, I've been sitting down here for a couple hours, and I mean, you know, look, this is a real safety situation. I also have to say it can be quite entertaining to see. Are they going to make it? It's kind of a gamble every time. And, you know, as we said, the roads are starting to clear up a little bit, so the odds are getting better. Most people are making it, but we are still seeing people slip in, having those rear wheels slip out a little bit, especially on the opposite side from where you see that BMW there.
Yeah.
Where you're seeing the areas of trouble are really those areas that are in the shade. You can see right now the sun is coming out. We have kind of partial, mostly overcast, but we're getting the sun coming out. But you can really see right now the shadow of that tree is creating these difficult spots, and that is all over the metro area. You're seeing, you know, these little problem areas, and if you're not being cautious, if you're driving around assuming all the roads are as clear as maybe some of the sunnier areas, you're going to get caught off guard, and that's when things can really go wrong.
Yeah, I mean, and as much as the temperature has warmed up enough, you know, to start melting things, but if you're not in that direct sunlight, that's a good showcase right there. I'm looking at 37 degrees here right now. So, yeah, warmer, obviously up above freezing, but that's not a quick thaw. So, we'll see. Yeah, there's an example of that speed you were talking about as somebody's tearing up that hill.
That's right, just flooring it.
Well, and you've been out here, you know, monitoring this and watching this, but I know you were out yesterday too. We were going to talk about this, you know, some of the other things that were happening around the area. Maybe not as bad as last year when we had that huge ice storm, but anytime you have something like this, wind, ice, even snow weighing down tree limbs and trees, you get some of those trees falling over. And I think that's what, from what I understand, that's what you were out checking on yesterday.
Yeah, that's right. So yesterday I was out a different part of the area. I was up in Vancouver, just over the border. And what we saw there was a fairly good-sized tree had come down over power lines into the road, created a real dangerous situation. And so I think you've got some video of that if you want to show us.
Yeah.
What we saw was... Yeah, so, and I can just kind of talk over it. I know I can't see it, but what we saw was that tree comes down, and what we see in these situations is it takes a whole team, takes a very thorough response to actually address the situation, right? First thing you got to do is shut the road down. You got to make sure that traffic isn't getting in your way. Then, because that tree is sitting on live power lines, they had to wait for the power company to come in to shut down that power and to ground from both sides to make sure that any leftover juice in those power lanes was cleared so that the tree workers could actually safely get the tree out of there. Then you got to let the tree workers do their job. They've got to get on a cherry picker, start cutting the thing up, towing it out the road. I mean, this tree specifically was big and it was heavy. They had to actually use winches to drag the chunks of the tree off the road, get it away so that the power company can then go back in, put a new power line up, and get that road opened up. And so these are all different players coming in. That's why just that one tree, that road was shut down for a good 4 or 5 hours at least. I mean, that was when I left and it was still closed. So, you know, it's been interesting to see. This was clearly not as bad as last year by any means, but our utilities, the first responders, all these different groups, they were clearly ready for it. We had line workers ready to go. When I was out there in Vancouver, we had a whole team. They had replacement telephone poles loaded up on the trailer, ready to go out there, trying to work as quick as possible to minimize interruptions to the people who, you know, at that point were without power. And so, yeah, again, not nearly as bad as last year, but clearly a lot of lessons learned. And really what we're seeing is cities, municipalities, utilities really being on top of it and making sure that the impacts of the storm are minimal.
Well, and I think, you know, what we did go through last year, just to talk to that, which granted was kind of an unprecedented event, but it brought to light so many different things like you're highlighting of how many people are really needed for each one of these incidents. You have, you know, 100 of these around the city or something like that. I mean, that's a lot to deal with. But I mean, just looking at this tree, that's a huge tree that came down there, and just to get all of those people out in place, also in this weather as well. I mean, they still have to get there. They're still dealing with all of that and the potential for more stuff like that. Yeah, pretty wild to see that and that footage right there. I don't know how many went down around. I don't have that statistic in front of me to check. I know there were a lot of people without power yesterday, but it seemed like they were pretty quick on getting that back in place. Getting those fixed, but yeah, that's some of that hard work out there to do that. Really quick, we had somebody check in here just on Facebook who was wanting to clarify where you're at. I think you're at Murray Hill, is that right?
So
we're checking.
175th and Devin, what is it? Rygart.
Okay.
175th and Rygart.
Okay, there we go. So that's where you're at here. You know, taking a look at that hill.
That's where we're at.
That's where you're at.
Yeah, and so we're actually, there's a hill here, there's another hill behind us. Devin, I think, can give you a quick look here. And the hill behind us here is 175th. That's where you saw the truck with the trailer earlier on.
Oh.
That truck with trailer came down this hill back behind us there. That was the one that we caught live. And that one's actually a little extra tricky because not only is it steep, it's got a turn, which, you know, makes things a little bit more complicated. Yeah, there's still a sign down over there. But by and large, a lot of these areas have been getting hit by a lot of sunlight. They're starting to clear up. You're seeing these cars, you know, come through at a pretty normal speed. Yeah, the sun's shining, but be careful because where the sun doesn't hit, it's still a little bit slippery.
Yep, and it's going to be like that all over the place. Well, Ezra, thank you for having some time for us here, you know, just to talk about some of the stuff that you've seen and a little bit of a show and tell here of people trying to get up those hills there behind you. So stay safe, you know, and hopefully everybody in the neighborhood's safe too. Because as you mentioned, you know, those high speeds, while I'm talking about it, you know, seeing these people go up the hill, that is still very dangerous out there, you know, and watch out. Kids are out of school. There's people walking around, you know, slow down a little bit is the good kind of mantra that everybody's been talking about. All the transit organizations and transportation organizations talking about that too. Just take it easy out there. It's getting better, but there's still some stuff on the road, and you need to be a little bit careful. All right, so there we go. letting you know that was Ezra earlier today at 1 o'clock here on this very same live stream that we've had going here throughout the afternoon, keeping you up to date with what is happening out there with the weather. I see a lot of people on YouTube and Facebook dropping in some comments and wondering about the roads out there. So let's do it. Let's take a trip around the region, around the area, and taking a look at some of those roads. So we've got our ODOT cameras that I'm going to pull up here. If you have an area you really want to see, that you want to know more about, let me know. I can click on that and I can get that for you. Okay, so right now, that's the I-84 up there at Marine Drive. And looking pretty clear. One update, if you were following along yesterday, there was that huge pileup of cars on I-84 out toward Multnomah Falls. That is all completely clear. We talked to ODOT earlier today around 11:30 or so. They said they worked all night and were able to get that cleared up. Pretty amazing work, because if you saw the images and the videos of that, it did not look like that is something you could have gotten done in one night. And thankfully, nobody seriously hurt from any report that we've seen. All right, let's go over here to the west side, Highway 26 in Bethany. So we're going to be taking Highway 26 home today, or trying to get around. It's pretty clear. You know, it's one of those roads with a lot of traffic on it. They did take care of that, and with the ICER, and it looks like that has cleared up pretty well, and not a lot of traffic. If you're somebody who does take Highway 26 home for commuting like I do, you know that around now there would be a lot more traffic on there than there is. So it sounds like a lot of people stayed home or had the day off of work. Let's go south. We got I-5 Wilsonville, another area that usually tends to get quite a bit of traffic around this time, and not too bad. Roads look clear. You can see some of the side roads there as they're getting an awful lot of snow. Still on the ground, but as far as the roads themselves around that area, not too bad. Let's go to Highway 217 here in 99, and what we're looking at is, well, you know, you can still see quite a bit of snow on the ground, but the roads themselves not looking too bad. And let's go a little bit north here. We'll go to the St. John's Bridge. This is these two cameras up here, if I can get it to pull up. We're going to try. Sometimes they won't pull up for us. Looks like that one's not going to work right now, but we can go to the top of the St. John's Bridge. I love doing these little tours with the ODOT cameras that we have that we can pull up for you. So that's at the top of the St. John's Bridge, looking down there towards the west side, away from St. John's, and traffic's flowing just fine right there. You can even see Highway 30 underneath, and not a lot of traffic on Highway 30 right now. Looks pretty bare out there. Again, for a Friday evening, the commuting is not too bad, and the roads are certainly a lot better than they were yesterday when people were out there. However, you still have those side roads. Remember, and I keep reiterating that because it's important to say there's still some dangers on the side roads when you get to the hills, when you get to some of the areas that just didn't get enough sun to clear off parts of those roads, like the one Ezra was talking about there. I mean, that was a couple of hours ago, but still, nonetheless, there are some hills like that. There's some slick spots, and it's important to remember that and drive safely. Let's go to Highway 26 at the zoo. Switching cameras. Man, I gotta tell you, for my Highway 26 commute, that's looking pretty great right now. That's pretty great. Not a lot of people out on the road. If you have a suggestion on somewhere you want to see, let me know. I'll do that. Let's go up into Vancouver, I-205 and 78th. We'll get that camera pulled up. Maybe that one's not working for us today. All right, we'll go to I-205 at SR 500. And looking like a little bit more snow off the side of the road compared to what we were seeing on some of those Portland cameras. I'm not sure if that's true, but it appears to be a little bit more. If there's a reason to that, that would lead me to believe, though, that some of those side roads up there, too, are probably going to be pretty hazardous to a certain extent. And next, we'll go down here towards downtown, go to Rose Quarter, Broadway. Let's see what we have right there. Let's see, I-5 at Iowa. Oh, well, they're spinning that one around. I have not seen that happen a lot, but it looks like somebody's moving that one around to get some better views of what's going on. And there we go. So again, traffic moving pretty well, moving along. Not much to really worry about right there. The key is the side roads. And we'll go one more. How about I-5 at Jansen Beach? Let's see. I mean, there's nothing. There's hardly any traffic right now. So, although look at that on-ramp. You can see some of that still there on that on-ramp. Probably not a lot to worry about, but something to at least pay attention to, because if you try to stop fast on some of those things, that can definitely become an issue and you can end up sliding. We'll take another tour around the region, looking at our cameras for that. There's our Shriners cam, taking a look at Portland itself, and traffic flowing pretty well right there too. You can see on I-5. Let's go to, we'll stick in Portland for this part with the river cam. There's TriMet, obviously moving right across there. TriMet put out a statement saying that all their MAX lines are working right now, are on, I'm not sure if they're back on regular schedules. You want to check trimet.org for that. They'll have all the alerts on there. The buses that all had chains on them, they're working to get those chains off, except for certain routes. There are still some routes that are closed or delayed, so you want to make sure to go to trimet.org/alerts if you're going to be planning to go out and do anything this evening. It is Valentine's Day, so I do understand a lot of people had plans. Just want to check that first. If you're going to be taking any mass transit or driving, just double check some things. There are still some roads that Portland Bureau of Transportation has put out saying they're slick around the area, so, you know, just do it with caution. But I get it. You have some plans. You want to get out there. You want to do that. We'll take a look at some other cameras here for those of you who were maybe going to be heading over to the coast. There's Lincoln City, looking a little wet, but very, very much like a winter Oregon coast setting. That is how it is. That's how it looks. That's on par. That's accurate. Okay, we'll go to. Let's take a look at Seaside. So I got a few cameras here. We want to make sure we get the right one for you. There's Seaside. Looking nice. Looking nice. Actually, a little bit of a clearing there. Maybe out on the very edge, but otherwise we're seeing that cloud cover. And we can go down a little bit further south and head down to Newport. And I like doing these little jaunts because we get to see live what things are, what it looks like down places like that. So Newport, and let's head to the valley. We've got Willamette Valley camera right here. Still a lot of snow there. A lot of snow on the ground. That's at Willamette Valley Vineyards, although it definitely has melted since we first started this over the last couple of hours. Originally, there by those igloos, those had snow on them. That entire patio out there was covered in snow, and that is certainly melted off a lot right there. But that does lead you to believe, I've said it a million times, say it with me, the side roads. That's where you got to watch out for. And we'll take a look at Salem, and then I'll give you a couple of updates here on some events that are going on before I sign off and we can get ready for our 4 p.m. news. Let's go to Salem itself, Salem, Oregon. Still quite a bit there. It hasn't quite melted off as much, it looks like, as it has up here in the metro area. Go to the mountain, ski bowl. There you go. There you go. That's somebody out there who's enjoying that snow. Several people who are enjoying the snow. Still pretty, I'm not sure if that's foggy, if they're in the cloud bank right there. I think that's probably it. Man, that looks fun. They have about 6 to 10 inches up there. We talked to National Weather Service about snow totals in the area. 6 to 10 inches up there on Mount Hood in the Cascades. That is nice. I want to be where those people are because that looks like fun. Okay, and we've got, go back here to Vancouver. We'll just keep on doing our tour up to the north. And there we go. There's Vancouver. Move that camera around a little bit. That's in the downtown area there. Very nice area that they've created for that downtown Vancouver waterfront. And that's what we're looking at. So those are our cameras for right now. We'll turn to I-5 at Jansen Beach. You'd take that if you were going there. Okay. I get caught up in looking at these cameras sometimes, and it's a lot of fun. Just seeing where it can take us. We will bring ourselves back to, let's see, we'll bring ourselves back to downtown Portland. All right, there we go. Here we go. Okay. We are going to do this. We're going to need to sign off here because we are going to be getting ready for our 4 p.m. newscast. However, before I sign off, I would be remiss if I didn't do this. You know, we're going to go into this. We'll go into the 4 p.m. news. We have reporters out everywhere, so this is your regular newscast that you're used to. I will actually be back at 5:30, I believe, and with a few more updates for you. Maybe another update after that too. So I'll be back on this platform, whatever platform you're watching me on. But you know what? One of my favorite parts here of any kind of event like this are the animal videos. I mean, the animal pictures, animal videos. You want to see how they're reacting to the snow. I love seeing the pictures of my dog and how he reacts to the snow. Oh, and I did promise to give you some updates on events as well, so I'll give you those. But look at this. Come on. Come on. That's the fun side. That's the fun side of all this. Just seeing how they react and then, yeah, somebody creating that amazing thing. That's like too good, though. I don't know. I know it's not AI, but how do you do that? That's way too much skill for me. I'll bring back some of those here in a little while. Let me give you some updates, though, on a couple of those events. Everybody going out for Valentine's Day. The Oregon's ballet performance of Giselle at the Keller Auditorium has been canceled due to weather. So if you were planning to go to that, it has been canceled. They are offering, well, they said all of tonight's tickets will be automatically transferred to the February 21st show. And they said if that doesn't work for you, contact the box office and they'll work for you. The Portland Spirit will be going on their Valentine's Day cruises as scheduled. But they said that if you had to reschedule because of weather, they're going to do that. They can reschedule for you free of charge. You just have to give them a call. And the DoubleTree's Valentango event is still going on tonight, so there'll be a lot of tangoing at the DoubleTree Hotel. That's about it for right now, though. I need to sign off and take a little break, but we're going to have the 4 p.m. news starting here shortly, so that is something to tune in on. Whatever platform you're on, I recommend downloading the Fox 12 Oregon app. That's a great way to watch our live shows and our live streams, which is what I'm a part of. If you've been with me here throughout the afternoon, thank you. Again, I'm Greg Nibbler. This is Fox 12 Now. We're here every weekday starting at 1 p.m. and we bring you all kinds of content, but it's been nonstop weather content here over the last couple of days, and understandably so. But we've got lots of things for you to check out, so make sure to do so. And of course, go to our YouTube channel as well, and you can share those videos and segments. But signing off for right now, I'll talk to you soon. I'm Greg Nibbler. This is Fox 12 Now.